Hey everyone, it's May and welcome back to my channel. I did not think I would ever be making this video, but I finished! I actually finished a first draft of Spring Break book. I freaking did it, you guys, and I did it by the end of August. So many failed goals later. Did not finish it by the end of last summer. That one was a kicker. Did not finish it by the end of spring semester. Didn't finish it by my birthday, but I finished it 2 weeks later. And Jillian's and my writing retreat was a really great push that helped me get over a lot of the parts that I had been procrastinating so that I could finish it. And then I procrastinated some more, and then last weekend I was finally like, okay, let's get this done. Because I kept like meaning to write every day, and then I'd really only write on the weekends, and then last week I was like, no, I'm gonna write every day, and then I still didn't, and then I pushed it all the way until I started writing Thursday, didn't write Friday, and then wrote like a ton on Saturday and Sunday. And finished. I finished yesterday afternoon. It was like 3:03 p.m. I finished. I texted Jillian, of course. It's weird. Like, I didn't feel like this big, like, sense of relief or happiness when I was done. I mean, I was like proud of myself, but it wasn't like this big, oh my god. I don't know. But yeah, it's done. And oh, I was gonna give you guys final word count. Okay, 145,899 was my final word count, so I kept it under 150 like I wanted. I know it is still obscenely high, but I'll be able to cut it down, okay? I've already started thinking about scenes I could cut or parts that I could possibly combine into one that were two, but I'm having serious issues with it because it's like I'm thinking of these two scenes and I'm like, yeah, technically they could be combined into one, but you lose something. Like, I didn't put anything in this book just because I was like, oh, that would be fun to put that here. Like, there's a reason for everything being the way it is. So, like, I had two scenes that maybe seem similar, but they're actually not. And there's a progression between what happens in the first one and the second one, and if you just lump it into one, you lose that progression of events and emotional development. Like, it's... There's a reason I wrote it as two. So, I don't know, maybe that'll just have to go out the window. There's this one chapter where there's a problem with it, but it connects to something earlier that would be nice to bring up again, and then the second part of it is like funny, and it like brings this joke through that was funny, and like, yeah, do I technically need that chapter? I guess not, but it still like goes really well with what's around it. I don't know. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be making a lot of big cuts when I go back and do the second draft, or if I'm really just gonna try to be going through, because I know there's also probably a lot of overwriting in dialogue and the exposition as well. So basically I'm taking a break. September I'm going to be going back into book one, which I'm really excited about, and doing a draft 3 of that. And I am planning on starting to try and query agents. I still don't really know how that works. I need to do my research on that as well. I started doing some research, but I need to do a lot more. And I'm also planning on trying to reach back out to my professor that I was working on my books with from CSULB to see if he has any advice for me, because he's a published author, he's been through this, so just like advice for anything in terms of finding agents or how to write the query letter and stuff. So and then in November and December, I really wanted to work on my newest project and try to write a decent amount of that draft. I don't think I'd be able to write the whole thing because I have a feeling that book's gonna end up being almost as long as this one. And then I think maybe in January I'll go back and do a draft 2 of Spring Break book. I don't know. Like, the only like really hard and fast goal I had for myself was like at the very latest to be done with this by August, and I did that. So everything else is kind of, I try to make it by months, but like it's pretty loose because it's not like I'm just gonna be querying agents in October and then stop as soon as November hits. It's kind of just like an ongoing thing, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. And then I have other projects that I want to work on next spring as well, but like tentative plan is like early 2021 to go back and do a draft 2 of this. I know I need a break from it. I need some perspective, some time away. I've been on a huge break from book 1. I think it's been like since December. December was the last time I worked on it. And I am taking this week off because I wanted to give myself just like a writing break in general, even though I've been taking a lot of writing breaks because I really haven't been doing it that diligently. I just wanted a week where I didn't even have anything hanging over my head. Like, I'm not even supposed to be working on anything. I'm just not doing it. So that's this week, and then I'll start working on book 1 next week. Anyway, so back to what I'm planning on for draft 2. Like, I have a list started just like I did for book 1 when I did my second draft of things that I need to weave in or work on, and I do actually have some concrete ideas of how to do that for some of them. It's basically just like strengthening certain threads, making certain characters more believable, things like that. Basically, I think I mentioned this in some of my previous episodes, but draft 1 is really more of a draft 1.5 because before I got feedback from my professor, I had it written completely differently in some parts, and he gave me feedback and we really worked through that, and I changed a lot of what happened. It's not like the whole story changed, but like significant parts of it changed, and I changed like basically a character that was one person became 2 different people, and so I went back to the beginning and changed that and then wrote it that way throughout the book. So that is one of the weakest parts of it right now, I feel like, and it's going to need some more flashback and explanation as I go into draft 2, which I know is more words, but to kind of strengthen that, because I feel like it's really weak right now because it's one of the most recent things I wrote. But then there are also parts of it that have been edited a whole bunch, so there's that. And some of what I was doing just now is like going through and changing like certain scenes toward the end to kind of fit with the new vision my professor and I came up with for it. So it feel like it's pretty cohesive, but yeah, there are just certain threads and like character relationships that could use some work, and that's definitely what I'm going to be focusing on in draft 2. And then just like a bunch of little things like, oh, there needs to be this little event that happens here, like not a huge thing, just like little like mentions of things that I need to work in, stuff like that. Then I'm just going to be going through and seeing what I can cut, like if there's extra dialogue, extra exposition, and I do need Jillian to read it at some point because she's so good at pointing out what's unnecessary. I realize now, it was really important for my professor to read it, but I realize now it was kind of pointless for my friends to read it. I mean, not pointless, it was still helpful, but like, I don't want anyone to read it right now. I want to go through, do a draft 2 with what I have in mind that needs to be fixed, and then have people read it after that and give me feedback, because I feel like at that point it would actually be really helpful, because they're gonna have to read everything that they read again because it changed. So I feel kind of bad that I have them do that. But anyway, yeah, Jillian's really good at like cutting things out that aren't necessary. Like in Tahoe when we were writing, I wrote this new scene and I had her look at it and she was like, great, but take this out, and you can shorten this to this. And I was like, how did you like just come up with that? Like, how do you see what needs to be there and what doesn't? And that was just like in one scene. So I feel like she could help me a lot with cutting things out, but I can do some of that too. But I need that perspective. I need that time and that distance away from it. And then I just wanted to talk about like kind of the writing process in general. Even in Tahoe, I didn't really feel into this book. Like, I've been experiencing that for a while, or like I just wasn't into it, in the sense that when I was writing I was super engaged with the story. I wanted to listen to my soundtrack and think about it all the time, and I was really like into it. I just wasn't feeling that for some reason. Like even in Tahoe, when writing is like all we were doing, I really wasn't feeling that. And for some reason it took until yesterday for me to get that feeling again that I haven't had in literally months, where I just like wanted to jam out to music. I tried listening to All Too Well while I was writing, and then I couldn't concentrate, so I had to turn it off. Like, I really can't write to music most of the time unless it's just like a random song on repeat that's helping me concentrate. Sometimes listening to a song and like help me get into a scene or something, I don't know. But I have like that soundtrack and I would just like listen to it, you know, walking to class or whatever when I was really into it, and just think about my book like it was something in the back of my mind all the time. I just haven't had that for a while, and then yesterday I actually felt like really engaged in it. I feel like I'm happy with what I wrote, especially this last weekend. I feel really happy with what I got down. I do feel like maybe it's just because I wrote it quickly or something, but it's hard because like there's a lot of growth that happens for my character between the last scene we get and the epilogue. But this book's already a million bajillion words, so I can't put like other scenes there. And I don't just want to have a summary of like, this is what I learned in the past year. That's weird, and that's just so telling to put a chapter where it's just like a bunch of exposition like that in between. But I feel like we jump between the last scene and the epilogue a lot, and like it goes over her journey in the epilogue, but we don't actually see it. So, but I can't put it in there. I don't have room. I don't know. Like on my soundtrack, I have so many songs. Like almost a third of the playlist is like between the last scene and like the epilogue and stuff. And because I have in my mind like kind of what she goes through there, but I can't write it out don't know if this makes any sense. And see, that would help with developing her journey. I don't know. Because it's like she learns some things throughout the first part of the book, but she also learns a lot like because of how the book ends and what she has to go through between that last scene and that epilogue. I don't know if that made sense at all. But yeah, so that's kind of something to think about too. I have this all written down in my notes. Maybe I didn't write that down. I should go over that today and just like make sure I have everything down that I'm thinking of. It's not like I can't open the document between now and January. Like I could if I wanted to like work on something, but I'm just not gonna focus on this. If I think of something, I'm just gonna write it down in my notes. I don't have to think about it again. So yeah, that was kind of all over the place. I'm really happy. I'm really proud of myself that I finished this. It is such a good feeling to have another completed project. Completed is a loose word, but like everything's there, okay? It's all there. I remember, yeah, it was a really good feeling to finish my first project, and you kind of have this feeling of overwhelmed that there's still so much that needs to be fixed, but like, I did it. I finished it, so it feels good. And yeah, I will share a song off my playlist.
We got the year, we line up, we've been in the sunlit. Yeah, if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too. Even on my worst day, I deserve, babe, all the hell you gave me. 'Cause I loved you, I swear I loved you, till my dying day. I didn't have it in myself to go with grace. And you're the hero flying around saving face. And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? Cursing my name, wishing I stayed, but get out my tears, ricochet.
That is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in another video very soon.
You know I didn't want to have to haunt you, but what a ghostly scene. You were the same drugs that I gave you as you buried me. I didn't have it in myself to go with grace. 'Cause when I fight you used to tell me I was brave. And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? 'Cause my name, wishing I stayed, but get out my tears,
I'll probably do another update as I'm working on draft 3 of book 1, or like when I'm done with draft 3, or I don't really know. I'll do an update at some point later in September/October, and yeah, I will have other vlog content and work week in my life maybe. I'm gonna do another reads and watches, my summer reads and watches video. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. I will see you in my next video. Bye.
I didn't have it in myself to go with grace. And so the battleships will sink beneath the waves. You had to kill me, but it you were just the same. 'Cause my name, wishing I stayed, you took it to your worst fears. And you tossed that way, and on this day, 'cause another 30 years. 'Cause my name, wishing I stayed, but get out my tears, ricochet.